Hello, everyone. My name is Sabrina St. Just, and I am from the Violence Prevention Victim Advocacy and Support Center, also known as VPAS at Southern Connecticut State University.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rachel Ellis, and I am the new graduate intern at the Violence Prevention Victim Advocacy and Support Center here at Southern.
Yes, and we thank you all for joining us today as we will be spilling the tea on the VPAS graduate intern. As you all may or may not know, I was the graduate intern in the VPAS Center for a couple of years, and I have transitioned into an educator role in the center.
Yes, and as I mentioned, I am the new graduate intern in the VPAS Center.
Yes, Rachel Ellis is the new graduate intern. Round of applause, round of applause, round of applause. So Rachel and I will be going through some interesting questions about what it's like being a VPAS graduate intern. But before we get into that, we want to briefly go over our center and the work we do in VPAS.
Yes, okay, so VPAS stands for a very long name, but it represents what we do. So part of that mission at the Violence Prevention Victim Advocacy and Support Center is to help build strong communities, whether it's on campus or off campus. We want to empower you with information so that we can all work together to create a healthy and thriving community that we want to be a part of.
Absolutely. The VPAS Center works with many survivors who experience sexual misconduct and provide information on Title IX accommodations, resources, and support services for the Title IX incidents, whether they are on or off campus, that occurred prior to students coming to campus and while students are enrolled at the university. Title IX topics under our policy include sexual harassment, sexual assault, intimate partner violence, stalking, sexual exploitation, affirmative consent, bystander intervention, community building, and safety. Our current university advocate, Catherine Christie, provides advocacy and support services as needed and identified by the survivor.
So you can go to www.southernct.edu/VPAS for more information, or www.southernct.edu/SART for more information.
Absolutely. Also, keep yourself posted by adding us on social media. You can add us on Facebook and or follow us on Instagram at VPAS SCSU for information about our fun programs and events. Now, here's the moment you've all been waiting for, the tea. The inside scoop on what it's like being a VPAS graduate intern. So what is a graduate intern, you might ask? The Southern Connecticut State University Student Affairs Graduate Internship Program prepares graduate students for a wide range of career opportunities and student services at the post-secondary level. The program provides graduate students with the opportunity to develop firsthand knowledge of student affairs professions and gain hands-on experience in many areas within the Division of Student Affairs. The graduate intern in the VPAS Center works closely with the coordinator in developing and planning specific programs co-sponsored with student groups, campus departments, and community agencies. The intern also assists in student educational programming outreach efforts of the VPAS Center. So you'll be seeing Rachel a lot around campus, programming, co-sponsoring with different departments, as well as clubs and orgs and what have you. So the way this is going to work is Rachel will ask me questions from my past role as a former graduate intern, and I will be asking Rachel questions as the new graduate intern. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. So Rachel, now that you are the new graduate intern, now that you are new, how does it feel?
Oh, wow. Okay, so it feels great. this has been a very long process, the application process, and then, everything that's happened in the past 6 months. But to just be sitting here, like in this new position, it feels amazing.
Mhm.
I love the opportunities that I have, and I love the thought that like I started at Southern as an undergrad student, like just so young, 18 years old, not knowing anything. And now here I am, a graduate intern, new
Yes.
again, not knowing anything again. So I know how amazing this is going to be, and like I'm just excited to see like where I start and where I end.
That's
My
awesome.
question for you is, what made you want to do this type of work?
Well, it's a great question. What made me want to do this type of work? I can say that I've had a passion when it comes to like human services overall and helping others, empowering others in different capacities, honestly. I didn't think that I would find myself within higher education until I actually went to college, and I was just like, oh, okay, like college students are cool, like peers are cool. And so, um, believe it or not, VPAS, I didn't really know much about the center until I actually took a course through a social work class that I was taking. And this class required me to do 30 hours of community service. And so, living on campus, not having a car at the time, I was like, all right, what am I going to do? Did my research and I stumbled across VPAS, checked it out, and I absolutely loved it. I honestly thought that I would just volunteer, but then the coordinator offered me a position as a student worker. And believe it or not, I developed through there with trainings on and off campus, as well as educating students on campus. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. And then that flourished into becoming the graduate intern, which is the position that you're in now. And believe it or not, for those of you that are watching this, as you can see, I'm still here. Uh, so I've been working in the center for over 5 years now. And so it's definitely been like a rewarding experience. Yes. All right. So my next question to you is, what made you want to become a VPAS graduate intern?
So I think similarly to you, the idea of just human services as a whole is very intriguing to me. In the process of like looking at what my different options were in terms of an internship, VPAS just really stood out in terms of the work that they do and how it could like support me in my growth, like clinically and in terms of just like what I want to do in the future.
Mhm.
So it was like a great fit. And then also just meeting the coordinator, meeting all the staff here, um, feeling that vibe, I was like, okay, this clicked with who I am. So it was something that like was really easy for me to like get very passionate about very quickly.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I love that.
Um, my next question for you is, what was it like to transition to online learning after, COVID-19 took over, and how did that impact the work that you were doing?
Let me just sip on my tea as I
Right.
spill the tea. Mhm. I'm corny, people. Anyways, yeah, the transition to online learning was very, very difficult for many reasons. As a student, when I had to transition to online learning, that was hard because I was taking 4 classes this past spring semester. And so to now have all these classes online and all these papers and all this reading and trying to restructure and realign and readjust, that was hard on top of having a job that also demanded me to hey, like you got to do this and this. So as a student and as an employee, it was extremely difficult for me to transition because I had to now figure out 2 roles really fast. And that was tough, but we made it through. Everyone was going through it. Um, it was tough. The first few weeks, I want to say that I definitely had a meltdown. And of course, completely like gloves off, spilling the tea. I remember being in class one day online virtually. And everyone was talking, and the professor was just like, how's everyone doing? I literally started crying. I was like, oh, professor, I am not okay. I was just so overwhelmed. Like, I had all this work to do. And it was a lot. It was really a lot. Like, I would literally be awake, like, past 3 a.m. typing papers. Finals was very, very hard. I mean, luckily speaking, I did, phenomenal, but it was tough, and I'm sure you could attest to that too. But it was hard. It was hard not having office hours, not being able to kind of really meet up with a professor if you needed something urgent. Like, it was tough, but we made it through nonetheless. But in terms of our work, I want to say that, like, I was able to do a lot of like virtual programming, and we were able to like keep the ball rolling, which was great. So we didn't drop the ball when it came to our work, as well as advocacy too. So that really went well. Actually, for you as well, I actually want to ask you that question, because you were a senior, you just graduated. So how was that transition for you towards the end of senior year?
I would say that I went through a very long period of just like grieving for all the things that weren't going to happen.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people who graduated from their undergrad last year can like kind of relate to that feeling of like, you didn't get those moments, the award ceremonies and the times with your friends, and like just the ability to like kind of wrap up your experience in a
Yeah.
way. So that was difficult. And then as well as just like I was in my social work program. And so I didn't get that opportunity to like terminate with my internship clients. It was like one day I saw them and then I never saw them again.
Yeah.
And so that was really difficult as well. But I think that the staff, especially like the faculty, they did like a really great job of like making the best out of the situation, and also just being like very understanding, and like just knowing like students are going through this with them and nobody really knows what's going on. So I think just having that support and knowing that like people are working with you and everyone knows that no one is at their best, I think that understanding really got me through.
Yes, absolutely. And you overcame, Rachel. You've overcome, you've graduated, and now you're
I
on to your
know.
master's degree. How awesome is that? That is
I
very
know.
awesome. Good for you.
Thank
I even recognize you now as we have this this conversation. Um,
Thank you.
so my next question, is there anything that you are nervous about within this new role given the COVID-19 regulations?
That's a great question. I said anything or how many things? So there's lots of things that I think about when I think about the COVID regulations, which I will say are very important. And I think they are like something we all need to follow to stay safe in the situation that we are in. However,
Pretend this is
I
people.
right, got to cover up, got to stay 6 feet away, wash our hands. But I think as someone who was a student leader on campus and did a lot of programming, like the things that jump into my mind are like connect students, bring them together, eat food together. And that's just not what we can do right now.
Yeah.
So it's really challenging me to like be innovative and come up with new, like fun, fresh ideas to still engage students and give them that like really like holistic experience at Southern.
Mhm.
But like in this brand new way. So it's really challenging to me, as well as just like wearing a mask. Wearing a mask at all times when you're around another human being is difficult. Like some people, it's more comfortable than others, but for me, it's definitely a challenge. And so it's something that I'm adjusting to still.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But we're going to get through it. It's going to be great.
We will.
Um, so I guess kind of want to transition into kind of talking a little bit about your background and your education. So what are you getting your master's degree in? Because I know you're still in your program. And what are your professional aspirations when we get on out of Southern?
Yes, 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 yes. To be very brief, because I could go on forever, as Rachel probably knows. So my master's degree, I'm actually in my final year of my master's program. I'm in a clinical practice program. for a master's in social work at Southern. Um, so it's been a hell of a ride. I'm finally wrapping up, and I'll be graduating in the spring. Yay!
Yes.
I can't believe it. It's like
Yes, yes.
crazy, but it's happening. And in terms of my future professional aspirations, I've always been super, super passionate about youth, specifically youth of color, Black and brown young men and women that live in the inner cities. I have been actually raised in Bridgeport, and so being in of course, a great environment, my home environment has been awesome, and I've been able to be all that I can be. However, going to like the public schools and, actually seeing crowds for the first time that were my peers that were struggling, I was like, all right, like what's the disconnect here? And that, for some reason, that intrigued me. So after doing research and reading and just a lot of learning, um, that's when I started learning, about like poverty, generational poverty, juvenile justice, prison, school to prison pipeline, and all these different ideas started like going mumbo jumbo in my mind. I was like, like this is interesting. And I just started to do a lot of reading, a lot of research, and that's when I started to kind of hone in on juvenile justice, the impacts of trauma on juveniles, recidivism, and the criminal justice system. And believe it or not, I actually thought about working in a juvenile detention center at first. And that's not to say that it's gone away, but I did think about that at first. But then I thought, you know what, like maybe there are different avenues that I could take with this, providing therapy, working between rehabilitation or services that promote well-being, and so I have many aspirations, I guess you could say. I don't necessarily have one set in stone, but one thing that I do love about the degree of social work is there's just so many avenues that you could take. It's just that multifaceted. And so, yeah, so I don't know if that answered your question, but there's a lot going on in my mind to this day. As you can see, I've been working in higher education for over 5 years now. So maybe that'll be something down the line, but my passion is in helping others for sure, and empowerment, and yes, and a lot of advocacy and violence prevention, and yeah, a whole bunch of stuff going on. Still a whole bunch of stuff going on. You would think that after 3 years, 2 years of graduate school, that I guess I'd have one idea, right? But the truth is, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. Wherever the opportunities, I guess, open up, I'll be open to taking them for sure. So, what are you studying this fall? And what are your future professional aspirations?
Yeah, that's a great question. This fall, I'm starting my Master's of Public Health program. I'm very excited for everything that's going to happen in that program. Yay, right? Finally starting, graduated and starting. So my future professional aspirations, similar to yours, are all over the place. There's just so many different things I want to explore, populations I want to work with. I have my bachelor's in social work, and so like just marrying those two fields together is something that like I'm very excited for. I could see myself working with a similar population, people of color in the inner city, and just providing more resources that are like culturally specific, and just being a person of color who is a clinician who has the education to kind of go back into those communities and provide resources is just something I'm very passionate about, because I know
Can we just co-direct like a nonprofit or something? I'm here with you. Yes, honey. Yes.
that's what we need.
Those are my
I just
same
think
sentiments.
right.
I love it. I love it.
We just have to remember that it's important that, you know, people have people who look like them helping them and serving them and providing them with services. And so building those skill sets to be able to not only like provide the clinical part of it, but to be able to like be a great administrator, be someone who can like provide programming, and that evidence-based practice is something that I'm super passionate about. So that's me. That's what I want to do.
I know you guys see me all stirred up, but I love it. Those are literally my same. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, I could hug you, but it's COVID-19. Just wrap yourself around yourself, because that's me hugging you. I love it. I absolutely love it. Anyway, sorry. I just
get passionate sometimes.
love it.
All right. Sabrina, you're hilarious. So I have a couple more questions for you. So looking back on when you were in my position as a graduate intern, would you want to change anything about your internship or how you maybe went about it? Would you have done anything differently? Like give me some of your stories.
Yeah, great questions. I think that when it comes to this, when it came to me being a graduate intern, one of the things that I probably wished I did in the very beginning was to just have a little bit more confidence in myself and trust myself a little bit more. Because now here's the inside scoop. And I don't know if any alum, which would be my peers, would see this, but they'd probably be like, yeah, she's right. One of the things that I struggled with was delegating. Why? Because I was at a point, because I didn't take any breaks, and guys. So like I literally went from senior year, graduated, back in the fly, went into grad school, which means that friends that I've had that were juniors, sophomores, seniors that were working in the center with me, even though I graduated, once I became the VPAS graduate intern, it put me in a position to now tell my friends what to do and to hold my friends accountable. Now that's probably easier said than done, right? Of course, absolutely. Like, Sabrina, what are you talking about? Yeah, just tell. No, it wasn't actually as easy as I thought it would be. I was in for a whirlwind, and I really had to practice being assertive. And if Kathy watches this, she could tell you that too. Just spilling the tea. I had a very hard time with being assertive with my friends. They weren't just my peers, they were my friends. They were people that I actually, talked to. And so I guess that whole saying, don't like, go into business with your friends, or I don't know if that's a saying, but it was hard. That first year when I became a graduate intern was tough, because my friends was like, oh yeah, cool, okay, graduate intern, awesome. Like, all right, nobody knew, like, and it's just us. But when I was on the opposite side of it, and I had like directory roles, and I was actually the student supervisor, and yeah, if I could go back and change anything, I think trusting myself to know that, all right, like I'm in this role and I could do this, um, and having confidence with it too, like not second guessing, or not feeling some type of way, or being scared to, believe it or not. There were some moments where I just like, or maybe it wasn't fear, maybe it was really just discomfort. My friends didn't scare me, but I think I was just like uncomfortable with the idea of like telling like my friends like what to do. Like, believe it or not, Rachel, if you and I were like, because I'm sure we'll be great friends through this experience, but had we been friends for a while and you came into this role, I'd be like, Rachel, so like, yeah, like it would have been a little different. So that's what I would change. Yeah,
That makes sense.
that is what I would change. But alumni, I love you, friends. Yes, you guys are awesome. Hope everyone's doing well. All right. So my next question to you is, what is a major lesson that you have taken away from your undergraduate experience that you will bring with you to this new graduate experience?
That's a great question. I'm so like talking about everything that happened in my undergrad experience is just something that like, I could cry. But I had such amazing experiences both inside and outside the classroom, that kind of like prepared me for where I am today.
Yeah.
I will always say that, and I think a lot of people when they see me, they immediately associate me with being a resident advisor, being an RA. And so you learn so much in that role, like so much more than like I could even explain to you. But one of the major things I took from that role was just like how to communicate with people, like all people, in so many different ways. Like whether I'm talking to you, just asking about your class, or I'm literally dealing with a crisis situation, like just learning how to communicate with people was something that I learned, and I think I became like in this place where like I got mastery over that. And so bringing that into the work we do here is like so important because it's so collaborative. Like we're talking with students and we're talking with our fellow grad interns in different offices. So just having that ability to like really communicate well with others, is something that I hope will serve me well in this position.
I'm sure it will.
um, let's see. Is there anything that you were looking forward to most when it came to like transitioning from being a graduate intern to an educator?
Is there anything that I was looking forward to most within this transition?
Yeah, from being a graduate intern to being an educator.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Um, Honestly, I would just say just looking forward to just being like flat out creative within my efforts to educate students. I want to say like through my graduate intern role and student worker role, when I was a student worker, we were always trying to, well, we would really be the ones to execute and actually like do the presentations and do the tables and do that kind of thing. But now within this educator role, actually facilitating discussions, having those conversations with students, coming up with programs and language to programs and, topics, ideas that, are current. Um, I'm excited for that. There has been a lot that has been going on in 2020. I'm purposely saying 2020 because maybe someone will watch this video and it won't be 2020 anymore. Today is what? Today is August 19th, 2020. There's been a pandemic. There has been a lot of racial tension within America and injustice. And so it's been a hell of a year. And with all of that, like, even just believe it or not, really thinking about, all right, so how can I, as an educator, create space for students, thinking about programs, thinking about discussions, thinking about like, I don't know, just different efforts to create community and to, really encompass and really encompass and bring to full circle this Thrive initiative that we now have. And by the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about, uh, get on the YouTube page, click on this YouTube channel, and you'll find out what I mean. But yeah, I look forward to just all those different ideas. Because I'm a busy bee for sure. I'm in my mind a lot, even off the clock. And so I look forward to just those new fun ideas and plans that are racing in my mind that I do plan to execute with your help, of course, and Kathy's help, or me helping you, and whatever the case might be. So
Yeah.
it'll be fun. It'll be a fun year. So okay, let's see what the next question is. All right, so is there anything, my last question to you, is there anything that you are looking forward to most?
I'm looking forward to most. I don't know. I'm just in this place now where I'm just very excited about everything. I want
Yeah.
to do everything. I want to be part of everything. But I think the
Like Oprah
idea,
Winfrey would be like, have you ever seen that movie?
everything.
Yeah. You get a bag, you get a bag, you get a bag. Here's Rachel catching all the bags. Yes, yes, yes.
But I would say the idea of like this new programming, the online aspect, the idea that I'm gonna be a YouTube star, it's just all very exciting.
Yeah.
It's very funny. Like I've never been a big social media person, and so now in this new role, I'm like, here I am, going live, making YouTube videos. Wow, here we all are. So I'm just kind of like embracing that, and I think also, fun fact, I got my minor in theater in my undergrad. So the girl has some performance
Rachel,
skills.
I never knew that.
Yeah, see, there's some tea.
That is tea,
So
girl. That's cool.
I'll be bringing a little bit of, maybe some acting, maybe some skits. I don't know. We'll keep it funny. So that's something
I
I'm.
love that. Put me in the skit. Put me in the skit, girl. Put me in the skit. Don't forget about me.
Don't forget, girl. Will not forget. So that's me. I'm just, catch me everywhere because we're doing it big this year in VPAS.
I
I
love
have a final question for you, and it's something that I'm personally very intrigued by. So I know that you are in your last year of your MSW, which means somewhere in the world you are a clinical intern. So tell us about that.
Yes. Yes. This clinical intern role that I'll be stepping foot into, if I'm going to spill the tea without drinking tea, because that's how nervous I am, I am petrified because it's just like I'll be stepping into completely new territory. And for those of you watching that have done something completely outside of your comfort zone, you know exactly what I mean, which is probably everyone. And of course, this new intern role for you, well, you've worked at Southern, but still, the role is going to be a lot different, and I'm I look forward to the learning experience, but I am very scared because it's new territory, a different population, different environment, different scenery. Like I'm talking like I'm going to be like the purple Fruit Loop in a bowl of Cheerios now because that's how I would stand out. I'm going to be completely different.
Right.
But I look forward to it though. I think it'll make me an awesome and a strong social worker. I would hope if we're actually getting out into the field. I'm hoping that these tools that I learn are great, and maybe I could see if I could like apply them in other aspects of my life. I'm sure because I know like patience is one of them already, and I haven't even gone yet. So, but anyway. Whew, it'll be, yeah, my heart is beating out of my chest even now, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've been thinking about that like crazy because the semester's starting next week. So
Yes.
I'm scared. I'm scared, guys. But
We're just going to
I'm
have
going
to
to make
stay
it out on
tuned.
the other side. I'm so scared, but
Right.
it's going to be okay.
Awesome. That's so exciting, though. That's so exciting that you're like taking that next step in your career. It's going to be awesome. You're going to do great.
Yeah, Rachel will be with me every step of the way, kind of.
Will.
I tell her all
And
about
I'm
it.
here all the tea.
Yes. And you, of course, I'll be here every step of the way for you too. So
I'm gonna need it.
Well, thank you all for joining us today. Rachel, did you have like any more questions or anything you wanted to mention? Any questions? Any further questions?
No, I think I got all the tea on you that I need right now.
I think I got all the tea on you too. My cup is empty, so I think I got it all. Thank you all for joining us once again today. We hope you all enjoyed this program. And we look forward to seeing you all soon. Stay tuned for some fun programs and events in the future that we'll be having virtually in at Southern as well.
Yeah, and don't forget to follow us on social media on Facebook and Instagram. I look forward to this new position and to meeting all of you guys in the different ways, whether it's on campus or it's through events. I'm just very excited. So yeah.
Yay, yay. We welcome the new graduate intern. She crosses over. Yes. All right, everyone. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.